Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Careertainment, your favorite career resource channel for professional managers, students, and entrepreneurs. And my name is Vikram Limsay. In today's episode, I'm going to be touching about a very important topic, the top 6 skill sets or attitude that one must learn early on in your career so that it benefits you phenomenally thereafter. Whether you're a professional or a professional manager or an entrepreneur, whatever you're pursuing, if you have these critical 6 skill sets, it's going to benefit you hugely. And why I'm insisting on this word early is only because in the early phases of your career, you're more conscious, you're more open to take on new learning, developing new attitudes, you're more conscious about it. Because as life progresses and you get on your jobs, you get very busy, your attitude kind of gets hard-coded because of the circumstances that are around you. Yeah? And it's very difficult for you in the later stages to take on new learnings and take on new attitudes. But it's not that if you're in the middle part of your career or in your later careers, you should not have these skill sets. You can evaluate them on your own after watching the video, and if you don't have these critical skills, 6 skill sets, then you should learn them at any stage of your career because it's going to be of much importance to you at any point of time, right? Because the list of skill sets and the list of attitudes are so many, it's an endless list. But after 30 years of being in the industry, first as a professional manager and later largely as an entrepreneur, I have distilled these 6 critical attitudes. They're actually attitudes, not skills so much. I have distilled these 6, which I think are phenomenally benefit, and I advise them to my teams. I use it myself. Somebody has told them. I have learned it from my own experience, right? So I will take you through these 6 skill sets. Number 1, do not be rigid and inflexible about additional roles and responsibilities being added on to you, especially in the early stages of your career. Later on in your career, they say it is good to be clear about what you will do and what you will not do. But in your early stages of your career, no. If additional roles and responsibilities are being added on by your professional bosses or your company, they may only be testing you out for growth. Because after all, what is growth? Additional line responsibilities, additional functional responsibilities, additional geographical responsibilities. But even in the early stages of your career, if you are very inflexible and rigid that I will do only so much and this much and not anything more, then you're only going to be hampering your chances of growth. So don't be rigid and don't be inflexible. And more importantly, when you take on a role and responsibility, grab it with both hands and do it without any sense of entitlement. Additional benefit, remuneration, compensation, whatever. Don't think about that. It will come. In the early stages of your career, those are not important. You just let the organization test you, because that's what they're doing by adding on more and more roles and responsibilities to you. So do not be rigid, do not be inflexible, and don't have a sense of entitlement. That's number 1. Number 2, do not give excuses at the drop of a hat. I find a lot of youngsters in the early stage of their career don't do it intentionally. It happens inadvertently that when a question is asked of them, they come up with an excuse immediately, especially if they have not performed that task or especially if they don't know the answer. They will give some excuse which is completely wavered. Now, remember, many times, and hear me out very clearly, smart bosses and smart managers already know the answers to the questions they're asking of you. They are asking a question only to test you. Understand that. And if you immediately come up with an excuse which is very stupid, they will develop a certain perception about you. It's always better to be honest about it and say that, hey, I don't know the answer, help me and tell me about it, or I have not performed a particular task, I'll do it. Best to be honest rather than coming up with an excuse which is absolutely not connected. And don't repeat that excuse again and again. Once an answer is given by your boss, then learn it. But don't give excuses at the drop of a hat. That's the number 2. Number 3, you must have heard of this very often, right? I don't want to take my work to home. I don't want to take my office to home. Understand from the early stages of your career, do not bring your home to office also. People forget the other side. A lot of times people get into the habit of getting their home problems to work. It gets very difficult for an organization to develop if everybody every person brings their home problems to office. As much of a problem it is for you to take your work to home, it is also not correct to bring your home to office. So early in your life and careers, understand that you'll be very successful if you do not bring your home to work, and keep a kind of a firewall. Of course, it's not possible all the time, but generally avoid bringing your home to work, and don't take your work to office, work to home also. Right? That's the third one. The fourth one is selective loyalty, office gossip, and office politics. Stay away. In the earlier part of your career itself, if you understand this, it's going to benefit you throughout your career. Office politics, office gossip, selective loyalty to a few people in the organization, complete no-no. The best policy, don't do it. Avoid it. Stay away. Be only loyal to the task at hand, loyal to the role and responsibility you're given, and loyal to the organization. Beyond that, don't do selective loyalty to a few people or office politics and office gossip. Stay away. Yeah, that's the fourth one. Fifth, and a very, very important skill set that you need to develop. Always understand the larger impact of the actions that you take or you don't take. Remember that you are a part of a whole. You are a part of a large organization. You are contributing your own little bit over there. So, for example, I'll give you a very small example. If you are taking a leave from work for, let's say, a day or 2 or 3, don't just say I'm taking a leave for 2 days or taking a leave for 5 days or 7 days and I'm going away. Always think that if I take a leave, what is it going to impact my division, my organization, or my department, and be conscious about that and discuss it with your superior bosses. Always, if you're concerned about the larger impact of your actions and larger impact of your roles, your maturity will come across and you will be prepared for growth. People will understand that this guy is a responsible chap or this lady is a responsible lady, and it's going to help you. So be aware of your larger impact of every action that you have in your career. It's going to help you. Fourth. And finally, the last, and again, not in the least less important, do not trash talk about your previous employees or previous bosses or previous professional managers. Do not do that. That is an attitude that you need to learn, whatever may be the case. Maybe you've had a bad tenure in your earlier assignment. Whatever may be the case, do not trash talk about your previous roles and responsibilities, previous organization, or your previous bosses. Don't do that. Okay, so let's summarize this once again. Yeah, number one, don't be rigid and inflexible, and do it. And even if you are flexible, do it without any sense of entitlement. Point number one. Point number two, do not give excuses at the drop of a hat. Number three, do not bring home to work again and again. Like, it's not correct to take work to home also. Do not understand in the beginning of your career, do not take home to work. Number four, office politics, office gossip, and selective loyalty to a few people in the organization is a complete no-no. Number five, understand the larger impact of each of your actions within the organization and be responsible for the larger impact and be aware of the larger impact. And number five, do not trash talk about your previous roles and responsibilities, your previous organizations, previous bosses. These are the 6 most critical attitudes that you must develop in the early phase of your career, and it will benefit you throughout your career thereafter. I hope this video has helped you. If it is, share it with your friends, families, extended networks, like and subscribe to the channel. Until we meet again, bye for now.